Favorite memory as a high school athlete, there's a couple that come to mind. Number one, I always enjoyed is summer camps at Mesa State College. It's just that camaraderie with the guys, staying in the dorms, eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, playing a lot of basketball, and then just hanging out, doing whatever in the dorm rooms, sleeping, going to the pool, that kind of stuff. Also remember, as a kid growing up, my dad was an AD, so going to all the state events. I remember state wrestling, I was the towel boy, running around hitting the referees with the towel when the period was over, stuff like that. And also, I'll never forget our state championship run in 1995. Just that whole week preparing up to it, spending time in the hotel with the guys. To me, it's always been more about the camaraderie and that teamwork. Of course, I remember the game and stuff, and the 3 games we won and winning the state title, a last-second shot by my buddy. But those are the favorite memories growing up in Colorado. Summer camps, being around sports with my dad, and then winning a state title in '95 for basketball was pretty cool. I was a 3-sport athlete, so each coach I had brought something just a little bit different. I remember my football coach, Bob Markin, my basketball coach, Robert Crowther, my track coach, Dan Christ. Then also had my club coach, Steve Barnett. He was at Douglas County, he was my club coach. They always believed in me and kind of pushed me to do more. I was very thankful and blessed with height and athleticism, and I didn't kind of take that for granted. I always wanted to make sure I worked harder than anybody else. But they just kind of saw something a little bit differently. Being in a small town, Buena Vista, Colorado, we don't get too much publicity, and you're never thinking, you might not make it D1 or stuff, but they saw something and pushed me, just something they saw deep inside, some potential. So each of them in their own different way pushed me a little bit through my high school career. And I remember coaching, helping at CSU, a guy named Bill Peterson. He currently, I think he's now with the Baylor Bears. He's a player development NBA guy. He was with the Milwaukee Bucks, he's with the Dallas Mavericks when Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash were there, when they won their MVPs, just that player development. And he's got his own life story that's inspirational to me. So all of those guys just brought something out of me that you kind of never think possible. I like just talking with some of the coaches I know today at the next level. It's just, they want athletes. And for me, what I thought it did is it developed not only my skills, but I was very just adaptable. Versatile. If something happened in a football game, I could correlate like a basketball skill, tip ball or something like that. I throw it over the middle, it gets tipped 3 or 4 times, so they might come down with a rebound or something like that. That and just playing 3 different sports, the team. I'm just a big team first type guy. I just love that. You're getting to play with different guys, seeing how they move, how they react, just all about timing. And then also I think the most important thing is just competing. You're just learning how to compete. Doesn't matter if you're playing badminton, football, golf, soccer, basketball, track and field. I think it's important just to learn how to compete. As two I can think of, as a kid, I was fortunate enough, we had Matt Hemingway graduated from our high school in '92. He was an Arkansas high jumper, All-American, then a silver medalist in the '04 Olympics. So seeing him as a kid and aspirations of wanting to high jump like he did, I never jumped as high as he did. He still has the state record, had the national record at 7'4 1/4. A few years ago, a kid out of Austin, Texas, I believe, beat him. I'm not sure on that, but I went 6'10", so I never came close to him, but seeing his work ethic and stuff and some things, I've seen him talk as well to different groups. Of course, he's got his Olympic medal that he can show off, which is pretty cool, and hear him speak. I always looked up to him. He was never a teammate of mine, but a teammate I looked up to and really challenged me is a kid named Kobe Vidakovich. When I was a sophomore, when we won the state title, and a freshman, our head coach, Robert Crowther, I always had to guard him. He was like our best offensive player, good 3-point shooter, could drive, a good shot, could shoot from the lane, and I always had to defend him. So I was always wondering, why did coach put me on him? Maybe I was the best defender because I challenged him to be better. He was an upperclassman just as much as he made me better. I'm 6'6", but I played kind of like a wing or a guard type thing, so I had good footwork, and he made my footwork a lot better. I always had to bust my butt on defense just to try to stay in front of him. He was quick, so I'd say those two, Matt Hemingway and Kobe Vidakovich. As growing up here in Buena Vista, I was pretty fortunate. From an athletic family, my cousin wrestled at Indiana. Another cousin, she played volleyball at Georgia Tech. She's actually in their Georgia Tech Athletic Hall of Fame as a setter. So I always kind of looked up to them. I was like, all right, there's my path. I want to play college athletics as well. My dad, my uncle did small D2, like in Kansas, they played football. So I was like, okay, here's my path, college athletics. And then May 13th of 1996, life changed pretty much in a blink of an eye. I was in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the neck down. So you just kind of got to evaluate kind of who you are as a person, kind of where life is going to take you now, type thing. Most of my offers I had started off with track. Ironically enough, track and field. I had a good breakout summer there. In the spring of '96 down in Amarillo, Texas. Steve Barnett, again, our Colorado Select basketball coach. I just had a great tournament. I remember an ACC official kind of talked me down there a little bit. And I was thinking, okay, maybe this is kind of cool. You're a young kid, you're 17, that recruiting process just kind of gives you a big ego, your head gets pretty big. It's fun, it's a fun opportunity, not too many get that opportunity to be recruited. But then, yeah, May 13th, '96, Flight for Life helicopter. I was in St. Anthony's for a month and a half. Then they moved me over to Craig Hospital, world-renowned spinal cord and traumatic brain injury hospital. I stayed there for a month and a half as well, so 3 months. The spring of '96, I was very humbled as a young 17-year-old kid just getting ready in the beginning process of that recruiting. What I learned from there, like I said, is this being humble, being grateful for the little things that you have in life, the family and friends that are around you. I think a lot of it, my work ethic that I learned from playing sports helped me, along with my parents they kind of push me and won't let me settle, won't let me rest, always push me, you can do better, do this, do that. So a lot of times sitting there, I remember like for the PT and OT people, I'd have like an hour a day where I could go do stuff and I was pretty much immobile. They were trying to move my hands and stuff, but it wasn't really working quite yet. And anytime my right toe started to move first, and then for some reason it just kind of goes in a circle a little bit. They couldn't explain why I started to move. I remember anytime there was an open block, like someone didn't want to go to the PT or OT, I'd ask, hey, can I go down there and work out, or can I do something? Like, I don't want to sit here in this hospital bed 23 and a half hours a day. I want to like move and do something. So down there, remember it was a big old flat board with a bunch of screws and then bolts on it. You had to screw it and unscrew it. So I remember just starting off doing that, doing some balance stuff, trying to get me to stand up. I remember the first few times I stood up, I passed out just because I'm trying so hard and holding my breath. But I got past that. But just in sports, there's always some type of obstacle. You're going to lose, you're not going to start, they're not going to pass you the ball. I think it's all how you respond to those obstacles, not only in sports but in life. And doing those in sports, like, you don't win all the time. Learning how to overcome in sports, I think, just helps you in life, how to deal with it in a positive way. I know there's a lot of people that I've met in the hospital, you had to go to a lot of counseling, drug and alcohol counseling. A lot of them choose a different path, drugs and alcohol, to kind of suppress the pain, just emotional and physical pain. I was thankful I never went that route. Granted, my mom pushed me to take the higher road, but as myself, I didn't want to take that road either. It might be the easy way out, perhaps. So I like working hard at stuff, and it just taught me to just persevere. You got to have that determination and the discipline. Discipline's a big word I use a lot in coaching and with teaching as well. Just, do you have the discipline? Are you going to sit there and lay back, or are you going to get up and, hey, I want to work out today, I'm going to sit on the couch today? And so I'm just thankful I can move and walk, and we just walked down here today to the track to do this interview. I'm thankful that I can do that kind of stuff. I'm not in a wheelchair. So. Education is just, in the classroom, it's very academically based, and you can't really skew and do like the teachable moments in life. I think that's what sports offers more than the academic side, are those teachable moments. Kid does something in practice, you can pull them to the side, and that's what I like more about teaching and coaching kids this day and age, is you can teach them a life experience. You can do a teachable moment with them that you couldn't do in the classroom. Like if they get benched for a game, explain to them why you're benched, what you need to do to get better, that type of stuff. I think teaching kids how to fail is a good thing. I know a lot of times, I've heard some college coaches speak, they have like a reset button. They play video games so they can, they're losing, they can reset and start over. Unfortunately, life doesn't give you a reset button, so you can teach them, how do you handle losing? How do you handle adversity in a positive way? There's a lot of negative ways you can handle it, but I think handling it in a positive way is important for these kids, and that's why I think sports teaches them how to handle adversity in a positive way. And if you got good coaches that know how to do that, they're going to be successful in life far beyond the field or the court, whatever you have, that you're able to coach them in. I think that's the most important part. I'm a big John Wooden guy, so I always like his quote, definition of success is a direct result of self-satisfaction, knowing you did the best that you could possibly do. Another one I heard from Coach Peterson, we call him Bill Peterson, is like, what does better look like if you're doing something, all right, you're the best at this, but can you push yourself to do a little bit more? What does better look like? I also heard him say, if it's easy, you're not getting better. So that's kind of what you mentioned. Success is always, it's a carrot dangling in front of you. You accomplish this, what's the next thing that you're going to move on to in life? And it doesn't have to be sports. It could be marriage or relationships or being a father. Like you did something today, all right, how can I be a better dad the next day type thing? That's one thing I've always said as an AD and as a coach. I want to be a good coach, a great teacher, but one day I'd rather be a better dad and a better husband down the road. That's a good question. If I could go in the DeLorean, one thing I would do is, if I could just take my dad's keys one more time and go into our McGinnis Middle School gym with no, close all the windows, I don't want anyone to watch me, just to be able to shoot hoops and do it like I used to before my car accident. That'd be the one thing I'd like. That's what I've always just wanted to do. Just give me an hour to, what I always said, be normal again. That would be pretty cool. If I could tell myself one thing, and just, the word I kind of use a lot is, what I try to give my athletes and even students is the word humility. And like I said, I was blessed with athleticism and height, but I think what humility does is teaches you just to push yourself a little bit more, do a little bit better. Just like Michael Jordan, when he got cut from his team, it's something inside of him fired him up to work harder. And I thought I worked hard, my parents did a good job, but if I was humble looking back, I could have just been even better. I'm very critical of myself as well. Like I could have thrown a football better, I could have jumped higher, could have shot better, ran faster. So I'm very critical of that. If I could just tell my Chad at 16-year-olds, just be a little bit more humility. That'll make you just a better athlete and just a better person too. I think that, like I mentioned, it's more important to be have better character than it is to be known as the best athlete in the world. So that humility part was what I'd tell 16-year-old Chad, because when you're 16, you think you're the top of the world in a small town, and when you get humbled pretty quickly, it's pretty humbling.